All right, Lou, you and me.
Okay.
Do you like this?
No. They say that I'm perfect for radio.
Yeah, you told me that yesterday. I love that. Okay. You've been with us how long?
29 years.
And how many positions have you held?
4.
So you've done
Shipping and receiving,
sales,
and then management and shipping and receiving, and now director of operations, internal operations.
Great. What's your favorite job?
So all of them are, I mean, I guess being in the position that I am now, I'm overseeing all of it, so, except sales.
So what are you working on right now? What are the big things that you're focused on?
Training, because we have some new employees, so training. And it's not me working on them, as they're getting work done. There's the marketing department that is being established, so we're creating a room for that. There's services that we're working on to enhance. And then contracts with AT&T and UPS, and then Business Made Simple course that
we're studying that
we're
together
studying
as a team. What have you witnessed with us? I mean, let's just go back and think about the last 10 years. I will never forget that lunch when we were looking for a property to move PSC to. And I'll never forget you walking in and said, now, Terry, I need you to use your imagination. Let's get in the car. And we only had to go about 400 yards. But you found this gem for us. And we had to get in and wow, did we start dreaming right away on what we could do?
It was exciting to find this. You guys were looking for a place for a while, and you sort of had blueprints drawn out of what you wanted. And when I came through this place, I'm like, oh, this is where that can go, this is where that can go, and it sort of like fit.
But how did you even find it? Just drove by accident?
I went somewhere for lunch, and then I saw that this place was up for rent, and then I called and made an appointment to come and look at it, and we looked at it. And then that's when I called you and said that we have to come and look at this.
Well, you know, when we first, I don't think people realize, I mean, you're a tradesman and you were raised, was it bricking?
Yeah, I was a union bricklayer.
Okay. So you've got building and you're very handy and I know what I want, but I couldn't build it. And we really said, how do we do this without a budget? Right?
Right. And a champagne look on a beer budget.
Exactly. I remember when we went to that guy and we went to his office, he said, well, I'll sketch something out, but it'll be $12,500. And we looked at each other and said, no, we're going to go now. And
thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. And I just sketched it on paper over and over again, and you took it from there and ran with it.
Yeah, some of the areas were challenging, but most of it was pretty simple. There's some things that we couldn't do internally that we had to have other companies come in and do it for us. But it was a great project to work on, to get it done in the timely manner that we did. And PSC, with the move and everything like that, we were basically closed like a day and a half, which, you know, you don't hear about that.
Well, you incorporated everyone that had that skill set, some kind of handy man in him. And like you said, we only brought in 5 contractors, which was carpet installers, plumbers, electrician, chimney.
And ACH.
And ACH. And everything else you did.
AC, not ACH. I said ACH.
What did I say?
ACH.
That's being together too much.
Yeah.
So when you think about how we first came in here and we had different places to choose from, we had to go back and rewrite our needs and say what areas would be best. This room that we're in now, the theater, we didn't want it first because we didn't think we could afford it, but we didn't want anyone else to take it.
Right, and then we ended up using this as the storage for the school.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you and Steve always wanted a theater type setting, and this was like a perfect room for that.
Well, when I went up to Toronto is when I saw it. You know, when you go into a place that feels great, I came back and said they had an inverted theater. I mean, we don't have that, but we can go up.
Right.
create the same effect. And I sketched this out, and you built this.
But I remember we were thinking about adding bleachers to the Team U at the old place.
I remember that.
And, you know, because that's sort of the feeling that you guys wanted. And it worked out. It worked out great with how this happened. It helped with having employees here that can help with that as well.
Sure, but you know what you didn't have, I mean, you just put this down and just started measuring. I'm still blown away by this room, but I love it so much.
Yeah.
So every time, I mean, if I think about even in 10 years, number one, what I'm most proud of is that we don't look like we're 10 years old.
No.
We protect that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal to us. And then we keep looking for ways to improve our efficiencies. But before we go there, when we moved into this place and really did our wants list, it improved efficiencies just there.
Yes. You know, we went from 4 different buildings to 1. I mean, even as simple as 4 different bills down to 1 bill, you know, 4 different ComEd bills down to 1 efficiency in that way. The secondary locations is in 1 warehouse. It's not all a couple blocks away.
Well, and even all the paper supplies and such, we got that all down too.
Correct.
1.
And then even having Salon Matters in the same building as the warehouse, or, you know, it just made it so efficient. The campus vibe was great with having multiple buildings, but this just made it so much more efficient.
Well, and I think we know, being in Rockdale, if we were going to take on 60,000 some square feet in Chicago, we could have never afforded it.
Right. Yes.
So we had to be creative and realize what we could make on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Powerful. What's your biggest frustration in technology today?
Well, the biggest frustration is anything that you plug in pretty much involves IT in some way or another, and that is like the hardest part. They try to make it simple for people to learn, and it's not. So that's like the biggest frustration that I have with that.
When you look at our efficiencies as a company, from, you know, I look at what we've created. I think sometimes we take it for granted. Our service commitment is powerful.
Yes.
How they're working on efficiencies in the warehouse. I mean, efficiencies in a warehouse is how can we pack easier, faster, ship easier, faster, pull an order easier, faster, eliminate errors, error management. And we look at that a lot.
Well, and recently with error management, we're looking at possibly adding a check station for the pick, pack, and manifest, and see how that affects with errors. I mean, there will always be an error, but, you know, we try to make it as least as possible.
And what did we learn from it? You know, like I was talking to you, and I was really amazed that when you look at a new product, for example, we launched Evo in January, you look at a new product way differently than I do. You look at it for, oh boy, that's what you said, oh boy, every bottle looks exactly the same. Right,
and you know, like what else? All the sizes are basically the same, and with Evo particularly, they have a travel size in every single product, and that's not like that with other manufacturers. So even the space of what it takes in the warehouse and how's it going to fit, do the bottles stay clean, it's a little bit dusty, you know, that kind of stuff all goes through your mind when it's coming in.
But one of the things I said to you, and I love the way we ask questions inside, is why are we having errors in Evo? And you said,
they all the bottles look exactly alike, and then you have to look at a little bit of print to tell the difference in them.
And that's hard for the
packers
to look at it before it goes in the box. But another thing is, as soon as you said that to me, I passed it up to Evo and said, hey, you just might want to think about this.
Right.
This is very time consuming and adds pressure on us because all the product looks exactly the same.
Right.
So we'd like to get everyone involved.
Yes. So what we're doing now, because of the situation we're in, is we're having 2 people pull the product. That way the packer really doesn't have to check it. They just have to make sure it's packed securely.
So if people think about when we look at our efficiencies, the customer just wants it right.
Well, we want the customer to have it right.
Exactly. But we always think about it from a standpoint of how we take the order, how many different ways we're going to take an order. I mean, what are all the different ways we're offering right now?
Well, with B2B, as we call it, it's where they go online and they can place an order and it goes directly to the warehouse. Salon Matters, obviously, they can receive an order by a phone call. It can be faxed, it can be emailed. We have Salon Interactive that's going to be launched that will help with orders going directly out to the warehouse.
But it's amazing how we look at the performance of every one of those every single day.
Yeah, we try to help the salon, and if there's certain emails that aren't coming through in certain ways, we ask if is there a different way that we could receive their orders.
Did you ever think, I mean, sometimes I look at the enhancements we make every year and I always think, God, could there be any more? And then we always have another 15 or 20.
Yes, yeah. Our system that we have is an old system, but there's things that we don't use in there yet. And having somebody that knows it like the back of their hand sort of helps. If you have a conversation with them, like, well, why aren't we doing it this way? Well, we didn't know it was able to do it that way. So,
well, and you know, Lou, that's the biggest thing that I'm the advocate for with you is some of the manufacturers that we do business with, and I hope our customers always ask, what else can I do for you? What else can PSC do for you? I hope they're always asking, because the people we do business with, whether it's AT&T, UPS, like you mentioned, we have to almost do self-discovery.
Right. And we're in the process with a new representative from AT&T, and the first thing I tell them is that please don't assume that we know everything that you offer. Learn our company, and then show us everything you have, and let us make the decision whether it's going to work or not.
Exactly.
And you know, he started asking questions, which was good. You know, he wants to find out about PSC. Right now it's through Zoom, so I can't wait to show him when he comes in.
Who's the new guy's name?
Eric.
Good.
And so he did work on a few of our contracts because they were up to date already, and he renewed them. We're working on getting a bigger bandwidth, which will make Brian happy. I'm sure it'll make Antonio happy too. And add a fracture of a cost to what it was having two lines coming in, have one line coming in with a bigger bandwidth.
Isn't it something? I mean, but so how do we know what, I mean, our staff expects us to be and have the latest and greatest and always trying to do what they do to make it easier for them. I mean, our job as managers is to make sure we're putting systems and services and such in place so they can do the job with ease. Right.
And you know, there's costs that they don't understand, and you know, like to replace a computer, the average cost is over $900 now, and you know, computers do become obsolete, and it would be great to have the latest and greatest every year, but that's, you know, when you have 50 employees and 27 computers to replace every year, it becomes costly.
So every department that answers to me and Steve has their own disciplines. What are you most proud of as far as our disciplines? I'm going to have a sip of water.
I think one of the biggest things that I really love about PSC is the openness of where we're at, dollar-wise. You know, I mean, I love working for PSC for what it stands for. Whenever we start thinking of a project, we see how it affects the salon and then work our way backwards to us. I think that says something.
But we also talk to every department and see how's this going to affect finance?
Right.
How's this going to affect customer service?
Right. And the other thing too is that, you know, you and Steve have been true to the mission all the way from the beginning. You know, 29 years that I've been here, you know, we've been through a lot, and there's
we have gray hair, Lou.
Yeah,
both of us.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad when you guys changed that we didn't have to color, the guys didn't have to color their hair anymore, because I earned this gray. You know, I always say this half is Terry and this half is you know, my kids. But I I think, you know, staying true to the mission and being there for the salons, especially with what, you know, PSC has gone through in the 29 years that I've been here, you know, when representing manufacturers, manufacturers not, you know, leaving, not being represented, pretty much a walkout. This year with COVID, or last year with COVID and still going on this year, it was the first time that PSC has ever had to lay off like a whole group. And it was, you know, it was challenging, but the one great thing about it is that the employees knew they had a job they had to come back to, and their insurance was covered while they were laid off, which a lot of companies couldn't do that. But that, you know, I'm grateful that PSC was able to do that. But yeah, I mean, I love working here at PSC. I do. I love working on. I like having my hands on everything.
Oh well, I know you're nosy.
Yeah.
In a good way.
In a good way. Yes.
But we have. I mean, you say all the time. You said to me, I don't know how people work somewhere and not have to be in the know. You said I have to know what's going on.
And it's not so much what's going on as how can I help.
Well, yeah, but you can only influence what you know of, right?
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, some people, and we really try, we work hard on it. I mean, I know that if COVID wouldn't have hit, we had plans to expand this side into a business classroom, a lunchroom, and some other things. We love the hustle and bustle when it's happening here.
Yes.
But
yeah, it's. I can't wait. You know, I know we need to discuss on when we're going to do that, but that's something that's on my mind, like how we're going to do it. And the lunchrooms we already have, you know, planned out till we get education back and start doing all that. It's really, it's like, all right, I want to, you know, start jumping on it and get it done, but we have to wait.
So when we look about at this year, if we think about the services we're going to be offering and the new systems that have to be in place, I mean, even the way we changed our huddle form, that's a system change. Mm-hmm. And the way we added some more things to that. I'm constantly, I mean, I always stare at it and I keep a flip chart in my office of these enhancements that we're making. But I think people forget how many things we do tweak ongoing.
Well, and it's a lot. It's a lot when you're working in a certain department and you have your hands on everything. That it does seem like it is. It is a lot.
But what's the first question I say? Well, and you probably won't think of it right off, but I always ask every director, what's creating frustration for you right now?
Right. What are the bottlenecks? Right now, right now is the errors. Errors is like top of the line of how we can eliminate the inputting of an error.
So you don't think it had anything to do with us moving to the new facility?
No. We moved locations, but in that system as a pick, pack, and manifest, and even entering orders, that did not change that much dramatically to create errors.
So what we do is we have to learn from it.
Correct.
And then dissect it and figure it out, not live with it.
No, because every product has a location, and every pick ticket has a location of where to go get that product. So, and it gives the quantities on there. So it's nothing like that changed where, and actually that was enhanced. The way that the pick ticket looked, we changed it when they got here, so that the quantity that they ordered would be first, because that's what you look at, how many, and then the location is set. Before it used to be location and then quantity. So the warehouse wanted it changed, and we changed it.
Yeah, when someone says this would make our job better.
And make the number bigger.
Yeah, make it bigger. Okay, we'll see what we can do on that.
Yeah.
I want to hear that. I never want someone to say, I hate this screen. I don't even know why we have it. I want them to tell me, and I hope people that are listening get their people to do it too. Now, have we had to say no because it'll influence the bottom line, or this will be wrong? We've had to. There's
a lot of great ideas that there's no saying no to, and that's something that I've mentioned to other directors and even the warehouse guys. You know, when they come up with something and they're all excited about it and like, oh, that's great, but how does it affect everyone else? And you know, I'm sorry, right now is not the time for that. Maybe later.
Yeah, I love that. I love that when I go out there, I love to say to the guys in the warehouse, what are you working on right now? What are you thinking about? And theirs is very visual, where customer service is more, what do you need mentally? They're not going to look at a warehouse and locations and where everything's I mean, I was so impressed with when I went into where we store extensions.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, the guys created a new way to our location for extensions, because extensions is a large amount of SKUs, and it's not a box. They're like oddly shaped, and to have them somewhere, we would need like a long line. And with the way that they created that area there for it to pick, it made sense, and it's pretty neat.
Oh, it is pretty neat. Antonio, I was thinking maybe you could even take a picture of that and add it at the end so that people could just see it. That'd be fun. I walked in there, I was blown away. Now, I will tell you, I wouldn't have wanted to drill all those holes.
Right. Dave Walker, you know, he has the patience to do it, and you know, it's a great display. I mean, it looks simple. I mean, if somebody looks at it, they're probably going to say, "What's so great about it?" But to build it was intense.
And to use it so it's for its accuracy and everything. I mean, a big word I think we use at PSC operationally is efficiencies.
Right.
That's a big deal to us. How do we improve those?
And one thing with that display is that we use stuff that we had, and then we had to buy very few to make it work. Very few items on it. So
I think you're very resourceful in that regard.
Yeah, that's the thing that's the mindset that we try to have, is what do we have, how can we use it, and to work from there.
So how do we get in? And this is an argument that most salons say. We don't have the time with the business moving. We don't have the time to get the extras done. How do we do it? How do you do it?
What do you mean, like the extra stuff?
Well, like even this new room we're going to turn into a marketing room. How do we find time to do it?
Well, you know, one of the things that especially with the Business Made Simple course that we're doing is time management. And one of the things that he mentions is that you have to have your priorities tasks. And he said, do 3 of them a day, you know, and if you have to make sure that those are getting done. Those priority tasks can't be your normal daily business things. They have to be tasks that you have to work on something special to get it done, special time. And the best time to do it is first thing in the morning. Then
for you.
For me.
Not for me.
Not for you. So you have to pretty much set your priority task, and then you have your secondary task. And then, you know, you have to figure out what you have to give up, you know, checking email first versus trying to get this done. That's how you...
Well, I love when we have a vision that we come together and we say, okay, and I usually say to you, what do you think this is going to take? How much time do you need? And, you know, it's all in your head because I usually throw it and put you on the spot right then. But that room that we're talking about has been 5 different things in 10 years.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And then you got to look at your personnel, who you have.
Exactly.
That, you know, I start thinking, okay, Sean can take care of this. You know, Dave can start just taking it apart right now. And then you start thinking of your employees who can, they want to work there. They want to be happy to help build something. So you look at your employees and see who can help with the build out.
Well, but see, most salon owners, because they're behind the chair and such, they want it like, I want to do my whole retail area, but I'm behind the chair today. Like you said, you've got to have a plan to when you're going to do that uninterrupted time.
Yes.
And theirs is usually when they're closed.
And sometimes some construction can be done during business hours without interruption, and it actually creates chatter, which is nice to have that kind of chatter that you're growing. But yeah, most of the time it has to be done when it's closed.
I don't know, Lou. I think about what we've done, and when we walk around, and you know, I know your DNA is everywhere. My DNA mindfulness is everywhere. But every time we come together and we make an idea happen, it just gives you the confidence to take on anything, right?
Yeah, you know, I feel like I've been blessed and cursed to be able to have that mindset. My mindset is that if I can build it or if I can do it, I probably won't pay someone to do it. Mm-hmm. At some point, my body's going to say, yes, you're going to have to pay someone to do it. But my mindset is still, at least I know what I want to get
Well,
done.
do you remember when the landlord said this place is really, really trashed?
Yeah.
There's not going to be much you can do with it. And we loved it. We said, oh, you're right. I mean, it's bad.
Well, I remember when we first came here with the rest of the director team, and they're looking at you like, are you crazy? Why are we moving in here? But it took a lot of cleaning to get the PSC standards. Even as we have scent air that comes through our filtration system.
That was a fun day when we first, you know how that happened. If you remember, we were in Vegas and we were at a hotel, and I went up to the manager and said, how does this smell so good in here? And I think by the next week you had the guy in here and we were smelling all the different scents and everything like that.
We were
sick, I
think we were high, really, to tell you the truth. You try to smell coffee in between.
Well, wait a minute. The first one I brought in, I loved it. No one else liked it. They said it smelled like a dirty ashtray.
It did.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
And
yes.
all I wanted,
yes, I do. Yeah.
I wanted a leather library smell, but they said it smelled bad, and then we ended up with the white tea and fig. And I'm just wondering, is it time to bring scent air in again and just have a conversation with them?
Well, I did have a conversation a few months ago because they are offering filtration system for cleaner air because of COVID.
Right?
And so that's something that we're going to be looking at to do. We don't have the scent air in all of our AC, but it's in spots that it affects the whole area.
So many people say, "Oh, you smell like PSC today." We don't even smell it.
No, we don't even smell it, but it's true. Alex said that once, and it brought me up when we were shipping to their homes because they're working out of their house, and he opened up the box and he's like, "It's so good to smell PSC again because they haven't been here in a while." And then Trish started sending packages to the educators for whatever they needed to get done and all that kind of stuff. And I said, wouldn't it be cool to put a scent in there like the PSC scent? Because she's putting the M&Ms, she's putting the cookies, everything we offer here, she was trying to put in the box. And I'm like, wouldn't it be great to have that scent when they open up the box, they smell that PSC scent. And so we were able to get sticks that has that scent.
That's amazing.
And put it in the box.
So Louis, tell me as we close, tell me some of your favorite memories.
Oh, geez, there's a lot of them. I think
the Midwest show.
The Midwest show. That's I sort of miss those in a way. I love doing it. You're
you were a young buck.
Yeah, I was young. But it's the whole thing, the whole concept behind it of how we're behind there and the warehouse gets involved, the planning and everything like that, and working through. You have people on cash registers that are never on cash registers, so they love that. Talking to the manufacturers that are there, working with the manufacturers, not just me, but everyone in the company. So Midwest show was one of the great. I don't know what else.
All I think is Chrissy and my sister, we'd say Midwest show feet.
Yeah, I think by the end of the show, you've been smiling so much that your smile.
Everything hurts.
Yeah, you're just smiling at no reason because you're just used to smiling. The other thing that I just love what PSC represents and what we're doing for the beauty industry. There's so much more that we could do as it comes along.
And we're doing it this year.
And we're doing it this year, yes. There's great things that that you guys are offering. There's great things that we're offering internally. There's going to be stuff coming up that we're offering for salons to get involved in. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming in.
Lou, thank you. Just thank you.
Well, thank you.
Do you every day is a new day.
It is. Every day is a new day.
And working with me is?
A headache. A good headache. But no, it's working with you is a good headache. I know we're going to have another build-out session, which that means you and I are going to fight a lot.
We're going to fight again, but it's all worth it.
Yes, it's all worth it. And, I think one of the other things that I love about this place is the employees here. It's sort of like our own little family that we're here. There's 50 families in this place, and
we don't forget that.
We don't forget that, and everyone contributes in their own way, and I hope they feel part of this big family that we are.
Oh, of course. Thank you, Lou.
Thank you.